Marie-Chantal, an accidental leader with over 15 years of experience in the tourism and events industry. Her name is often synonymous with Mont Tremblant tourism. She gets as much joy exploring nature as she does landing a big convention. She's a hiker, she's a supper, she's an enthusiast and a swimmer, living, working, and playing in the beautiful Laurentian Mountains. Welcome, MC, as we all know her, to the Illuminate Project podcast.
There's the shot ski.
Hey! I think
I'm
we
making
all
a deal with
requested
all
it.
of you guys.
I think you should sit it with you for the interview, have it right.
Just rock it.
It's like petting its head.
Yeah, exactly. The deal is, though, the first live event that the four of us are at, there's 4 shots for us.
Okay, Ryan's going to have to kneel down, though.
No, we can go on our tippy toes or on the bar.
On the bar, we can stand on the bar.
Yeah, stand on the bar.
Ryan stands and we get on 3 stools. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to see you guys. I can't believe I'm on your podcast. Thanks for inviting me.
Is this your first video appearance since your big stage
debut
reveal at the event?
Yes. I shared with some friends at work that I was going to be doing a podcast, and I was like all nervous, but I'm like, I'm with my friends, and like, you're a celebrity now, MC.
Well, we're but I think we feel good as well because we're like the David Letterman. Like you accomplish something, and you go right to the
there you go.
To the Illuminate Project.
I love it. Thank you.
We're like, your big accomplishment. Now we get you first on our show.
That's right. Yep. That's right. It's going to be a race. I think all the podcasts are in the event industry are popping up.
How many other event podcasts do you listen to right now? They keep popping up.
Oh gosh, I'm not listening to any. Only yours.
That's good.
That's the perfect answer.
Kim, is she in our staff?
True story.
Kim, is there a listen from Tremblant each time?
I don't know. I'll have to check.
It would be a Rundle
sure.
Because I'm not in Tremblant. I'm in like this little town. So if that a Rundle person is me.
Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah, I told you guys.
All right.
Right. Tim was like, who is this person? I'm like, I think it's MC.
Because we get a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm a diehard listener, and then I know exactly the little town they're in, and I'm like, I've never seen a listen.
I'm there. Little town of more cattle than people. I'm the one listening.
So MC, so you've been able to let the dust settle a little bit since your stage performance at the event, which got rave reviews. What's the after effect then?
Besides being on our show.
Yes.
The after effect is feeling so proud of myself to actually have been able to speak that truth, especially at a time that we're living right now where mental health is really important. And I've gotten so many good feedback from people from the industry, and I was actually asked to share my keynote with our office. So so I shared that with our office. So I went from like a 300 person video conference to 40. So it was like really intimate, and
that's awesome. Different.
Now, who knew you were doing this? What kind of support system did you have in preparing for it?
Who knew I was doing? Well, my immediate boss, who's a really close friend as well over the years. We've been working together 5 years. I didn't speak about it to many people in my family. I waited till afterwards. I did speak to a couple friends. So my spirit animal that you guys all know, Delia, was one of my practice people that I shared it with to see what she thought. And so she was definitely a really good help throughout that process. So, yeah.
What really struck me about that is just something that I've been thinking a lot about, both in my personal and professional life, but how important vulnerability is. And that's a really big part of leadership, a really big part of our industry, I think, especially in this last year. I think we've all been challenged or put to task to be more vulnerable and to lead with vulnerability. Is that something that resonated with you? And what do you like, what does that mean to you?
It means growth. Yeah. It means growth in so many ways, professionally and personally. when you let yourself be vulnerable, I think that's when doors open, because you're not focusing on being something else. You're being authentic, you're being real, and you're just, I don't know the answers or whatever, right? You're just allowing yourself to be in that moment. So
does that, so vulnerability means growth. Is that you talking, having gone through the experience and experiencing growth, or have you always used
good question.
that mantra? It's easy after you go through it, right? To talk from experience, but would you have said that 4 months ago?
Well, no, I wouldn't have actually.
We ask the hard-hitting questions on this show.
That's okay. It's what I love. It's awesome. But no, I probably wouldn't have, because when I auditioned for the opportunity to be a keynote speaker, I made a video which was all about my fear of public speaking. And then I dropped the bomb live on the show at the event, like, I'm anorexic and this is what's going on. And so a lot of the people that were on the board that had selected me were like, what just happened? But so I didn't even know that was going to happen. It was when Melissa, she's amazing. Melissa Major, she was really great in coaching us on how to do a brain friendly presentation. And before we got to meet her virtually, she sent us homework, and we had to do a brain dump on what we were going to talk about. And that's when I discovered that my fear of public speaking stems from the mental illness that I had been like shutting down and thinking that I was taking control of all of these years, because, it would resurface and I would find a way to, tame it and whatnot. But I never really understood that all of my anxiety stemmed from that, the fear of not being witty enough, funny enough, pretty enough, tall enough,
and,
charming enough. Yeah.
And I think we all have this persona, right, in the industry. That's the thing. Like when we go networking, we do that big deep breath. I mean, I do it, and then I put your game face on, and you're in there, and it's super fun. And I think it's a version of yourself for sure. It's not to dismiss it, but for sure, there's something pretty incredible. Like when you peel that layer off, your game face off, and you say, okay, I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Because I mean, let's not kid ourselves. A lot of people, you're really well known in the industry. So this was a huge bomb for a lot of people. We had no idea. But it's also, we all feel closer to you now, right?
Oh,
and there's something really beautiful about that.
Was it, you mentioned that you then did a kind of a smaller viewing party with your office. Was that easier to go through the process the second time, or was it different?
It was so different. It was actually harder, bizarre, but it was harder because I've worked with these people for 5 years, right? And we've been virtual for a year. They haven't seen me in so long. And so, I don't know what it's going to be like when I see them, but people were just so welcoming. And so they had actually decided to do it at our weekly team meeting. And they scheduled me at the beginning of the weekly meeting. I'm like, I don't think you want to do that. I think maybe we should do it at the end. And they're like, no, we're going to do it at the beginning. I'm like, all right. So we did it at the beginning, and then silence.
Did you do it live again, or was it?
Yeah, live.
Oh, you did?
I did it live.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then it was just like silence, and everybody's kind of like, okay, well, it's my turn to speak, and I don't know. And then finally, our general manager said, you know what? Thank you. I think we all kind of, all want to say a word to you, and we're going to cancel the weekly meeting this week because we can't talk about anything else right now. Yeah. So it's pretty funny.
And you ripped the Band-Aid off and then put a Band-Aid on and ripped it off again.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
It was cool. And I know you got a copy of the chat after the event, and for an industry event, how emotional the chat was and how supportive the chat was, and 300-400 people listening in. And do you think it was easier doing that in front of your industry peers versus a group of strangers? Or did you, could you see the chat? Could you feed off it as you were going along?
Yeah, no, we couldn't see the chat. Thank God. We couldn't see the chat. So that's a good thing. But I'm so glad that I saw it after. And thank you, Ryan. I said this to you in a text after the event, but as I saw them afterwards, Ryan had written, Tammy, you got to make sure that MC can see this. There's so much love in this chat and whatnot. So I read it afterwards and I thought that was really sweet that you wrote that. And so sorry. I think what brought me to, you know what, I was just ready. It didn't matter who the audience was. Yeah, I was just ready. I had done that process and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be able to walk the rest of my life as a partner with my mental illness rather than a rival, I need to just share it with the world. And you guys just happen to be that platform. And that's amazing because I love the industry and all the people in it. So yeah.
How does the backdrop of what, maybe I'm looking at this bigger than it really is, but how does the backdrop of what everyone, our industry and yourself personally and all of us have gone through with the pandemic and the crash of our industry, did that have any bearing on your personal experience going through the with Melissa Majors and the event? And you know,
do you mean the connection with the pandemic?
Yeah, like if there was no pandemic, do you think you would have gone on the same course?
No, because I don't know if you remember, but when I first started speaking about like when I started the keynote, I mentioned that it was the pandemic that made me look at myself in the mirror every day at this Zoom meeting, right? So that's when it hit me. And I was in all of these Zoom meetings at work and I was literally having anxiety. I had to turn off my camera or I got shaky voice. I got really sweaty and it was awful. And there was an elephant in the Zoom room and I was that elephant and it was really hard. So had we not had the pandemic, I would not have had this, you know, like epiphany with my mental illness. So yeah, silver lining.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think the pandemic, I think a lot of people have had to look inwards. It's been, or had to a mirror, figurative or real, reflecting back on them, and you see all the cracks or all the things that maybe you were pushing down, right? Yeah. I resonate with that anyways a lot. Like I hear a lot of stories like that. I've lived it, you know, where I'm like, oh, that's the thing I've been ignoring, you know, because it was so easy to just keep going in the pace that we were going at.
It forced us to slow down and look at patterns, hopefully, you know, some of us, things that we might not want to bring back when the world comes back to a semblance of what it was.
Which it is slowly. But on that note, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Okay. We're going to inaugurate you into our famous Crazy 8 rapid fire questions.
Oh dear.
It's a rapid fire. Crazy 8.
Are you ready?
I think so.
So what time do you typically get up?
5 a.m.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
That might be the earliest we've ever had on the show.
Are you joking? Yeah, no, 5 a.m.
And no kids. No kids. Let's tell
no kids.
Sure
I don't need to.
That's voluntary. That's not.
It's voluntary.
I have a morning ritual. I have to do it, and it's 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Plans or no plans?
Ugh, plans.
Everyone always says it that way with begrudgingly.
Embarrassed to see their plans.
We are planners.
Spontaneous MC gone from my 20s. Anyway.
So glass half empty or half full?
Half full.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Personal trainer or personal chef?
Ideally both. I'm going to say trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sense do you rely on the most of your 5?
I'm thinking of common sense, which was just, God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I can't remember
that was
who said it, but wow, beautiful. Amazing. I wish I relied on my common sense more often. Sight is my, the one I rely on the most. Mm-hmm.
I like it. Truth or dare?
Dare?
A little different from the truth she did before. That's perfect. Your Crazy 8 is which of the 3? Biking, running, or swimming?
Oh, swimming. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Sure. I follow you on Facebook. I know.
Oh, and I wouldn't have said that a year ago, but anyway.
Oh, no?
No. Yeah.
It looks fun. You make it look fun.
Thank you.
And lastly, are you surviving or thriving in the status quo?
I'm thriving. And I'm looking at myself too. It's awesome.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
But to be truthful and authentic, because I pride myself on that. I try to do that every day. Remember to be authentic and truthful. There are days that it's a struggle, right? So on, big picture, I'm thriving, but there's days where it's survival mode. And I think that's just being human. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so
totally fair.
Mary-France mentioned following you on social media. I'd say 99% of your pictures are outdoors.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Pretty much.
Are you interrogating her? Did she swear in the Bible for this?
Maybe I was wrong, but
I think I answered correctly by saying yes.
It's not like I've done like an official count, but I'm going to assume that's up in the 90s that they're outdoors, and that means a lot to you. Granted, you're living in Tremblant, and that's a big element of where you live. Maybe you can talk a bit about what the outdoor experience means to you, and especially more so in the past 2 years.
I've always said that Tremblant is, my workplace, my home, but it's my playground. It's where I just love to be able to, walk out the door. Even here in little town of Arundel, I walk out the door and just in my yard, I'm able to go hike. And for me, being in nature is my spirituality. So it's really important for me to be able to play outside, whether it be climbing mountains or being on the water. It's where I feel most grounded, and it's where I'm able to go and meditate. So, I like being with people in the outdoors, but I really love being alone in the outdoors too.
And I think that you talk about pandemic silver lining, but that the outdoors has been the only option for a lot of people during the pandemic.
Yeah, everybody ran to the
restaurants are
hills.
closed, and
Everybody was in Tremblant. It was crazy.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people have maybe discovered that or rediscovered that during the pandemic because they didn't have a choice. That was
Amen.
Either be home or be in nature, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And, we could tell too on the trails, very close to my home, how many, a lot of people were there. So a good thing I get up at 5 a.m. because that's when I was on the trail. There was less traffic.
Nobody's out there at that hour.
No, not at all. And see with their headlamp.
So we want to thank you for listening to our podcast. And if you like what you hear, you might even like Tip Talks.
Tip Talks is a custom podcast tailored to your event.
And a great way to highlight your speakers before your event actually starts.
And we'd love to help you figure all that out and make your event an even better ROI experience for your sponsors and your participants. So if you want to hear more, you can check us out on our website at switchidea.co.
We talk about that shift to the outdoors. What about you? And let's fast forward here, let's say a year from now when we're all come back. After everything you've gone through in the last year and a half through the pandemic and your event keynote session and kind of admitting to yourself about your vulnerability, how do you think that's going to change your outlook on our industry and the way you approach your job in a year from now?
Wow, that's a really.
We're bringing out the heavy hitter questions, right?
You really are.
Well, I had 15 minutes to think about that one, so they let me go last.
Oh, wow. Something I said to my boss, we had our evaluations, and I said to her that something that I learned this past year is that work-life balance is no longer it's just non-negotiable. That I need to be able to do that to be able to function. So I do know that traveling is going to come back again, and there's going to be events and whatnot, but the constant being on. I just can't. That's something I don't want to come back. To feel that I have to answer an email at 9 p.m. No, the world's not going to end. And I'm sorry, planner, if you feel it will, but it won't.
I mean, somebody's got to lead the way with that because we do it to ourselves, right? And I think about the travel schedules now. I'm not going to rush home at midnight. I'm going to take maybe the flight the next day, going to enjoy the last night. And if it costs an extra couple $100 to stay a night, I'm going to do that just because we're always running. And then you get back to the office.
Always.
You never have time to rest.
No, and I hope that not only will be kinder to ourselves, but that our management teams will allow us to be kinder to ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they'll have a choice. I think they'll have to be. Otherwise,
Right.
people are going to be looking to
Non-negotiable.
move. Yeah. People are going to be, there's going to be a lot of moving around after this, and people aren't going to put up with that anymore, I don't think.
No,
Yeah, but we
probably
have
not.
to hold ourselves accountable because we are this kind of rat race that in this like spinning hamster wheel that we created.
Mhm.
It was self-propagated. I mean, we did this. I feel responsible. Like, where I just like, I got to answer this email at 9 p.m. I mean, why? What am I doing?
Yeah.
You
I
catch
have to
yourself
ask,
in it too.
did that hamster wheel come in because I have a hamster behind me right now?
No.
Hamster.
Oh, no, I didn't even see it.
I've got one
Oh.
upstairs too.
I am babysitting a hamster right now and praying that my dog does not get a hold of it. Because
Oh my goodness. Don't let them get close either because those little things have little heart attacks when they see a big nose like sniffing at them. It
Okay.
happened to me.
They're only
That was a
$3 or something. You can replace them.
A heart attack. I just
Replaceable.
visualized
It's not
that.
mine. Remind you, I'm babysitting it. If I return it or return a different color, I think that's it.
You bet you the guy at the pet shop, like it happens all the time. He's like-
Probably,
People
yeah.
are specific about the coloring. He's like, oh God, another one.
Another lost hamster in the walls.
Anyways,
So
we
do you have any
digress.
pets with you? Do you have any pets?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
We used to have a dog. He's since passed. And we decided not to get another one, but we're thinking about it now. Like we're both working from home. My partner started working from home officially in December, so pre-COVID, that was his reality. And now that we're both home, and I'll probably be staying home, working from home. Like we'll have a satellite office for those that don't need to be at the office anymore. So
Nice.
that's good. I think that's awesome. So yeah, maybe it's time for a
But
dog.
you weren't joking when you said you go outdoors alone. You go alone.
I go alone. Sometimes Ben comes, but
Okay.
yeah. No, mostly
So
alone.
maybe to leave it on a high note, what are you most looking forward to as things are opening up and we're coming back?
Seeing you guys for real, like this screen. Like I want to see people in 3D. I want to be able to, hang out at the lobby bar and catch up with people. I'm
lobby
looking forward.
bars.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I'm also looking forward to travel, and I'm looking forward to fam trips in Tremblant, showing people why I love where I am.
And
right?
people are going to be jumping at that even more so than before, right? Because of the natural aspect. And
Yeah, I hope so.
So that actually leads me perfectly into our next segment called Temporary or Transformational.
Mm.
So in your mind, as we talk about fam tours, do you feel that virtual site tours are temporary or transformational?
Oh God, I hope they're temporary.
I had a feeling we were going in that direction.
I hope they're temporary because I think that a certain part of it's going to stay just because it's not always easy for people to travel. So I think that, we need to be able to offer that possibility, but nothing beats in-person fam trip, right? So yeah, I'm hoping that that's the normal that'll come back for sure.
Yeah.
I don't really have an answer. Well, I think it's both, right?
I think it'll be
there'll
both.
be a time and a place for a virtual quick little visit just when it's not cost effective to fly. all the way.
Exactly. So I think we need to be ready to do that. But yeah, so.
Have you been doing a lot of them lately?
Not really, no. But it's starting to pick up now. So we haven't done any fam tours, but site visits, to show certain things, yes, but not any fam tours. We haven't done that.
We just want to thank you for coming on. Like we mentioned, like your keynote was one of the high points of the event.
Absolutely.
But I think I heard Ryan phrase the one question, called it your year of authenticity and vulnerability. But I thought you were one of the most authentic people in our industry way before this year and the event. So I think, you told your story a little deeper, but I think if, a lot of people were surprised by your story, but
Still
your
on brand.
authenticity was very much, yes, on brand.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Because, when I first started in the industry, we're not done yet. When I first started in the industry, the two people that hired me at JPL Tremblant, who were owners back then, offered me this job to be a DMC sales manager. And I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, I don't know this world at all. And I literally fell into the industry. And I said, like, what makes you think that I can do this? And they said, there's just something about you that we feel is real, and don't ever lose that. Like, don't try to be somebody else. And that's something that I believe in, and I'll never sell Tremblant or anything for that matter if I don't think it's the right fit for you, right? So I'm always going to be authentic and be real, and this is me. You like me, you don't, you like my destination, you don't, whatever.
Awesome.
I love you.
And one last question.
Okay.
Have you been very successful in job interviews when you ask them, what makes you think I can do this job?
Actually, yes. The job that one, it lasted 10 years. I actually applied. I was working at the Scandinavian Spa, and I had applied to have second income with JPL to be that person that holds the sign. Yeah. Right? They never called me back. Next thing I know, they're like, okay, we want you to be our sales manager. I'm like, what are you guys, stupid or something? Like, literally, like, why do you want to do this? And they're like, we saw something in you, let's just do it. So yeah, danced for 10 years.
JPD,
I'll see that in you, to be honest.
Very well known for those people that hold the sign.
Oh, are they ever? And I was never that person.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, MC, or Marie-Chantal, as we like to say in Quebec. But merci beaucoup. This was amazing. I'm so happy to have you on and be able to talk about it. And I cannot wait till we do that shot ski all together.
I know.
Yes, for sure.
Some of us on our tippy toes.
Yeah. No, we'll put Ryan on his knees. He's the only one falling out. Get on your knees. Exactly. That's how it's going to play. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for being part of the Illuminate Project podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
To carry on the conversation, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at IlluminateProj with an 8.
Switch your mindset, stay creative, and we challenge you to not just survive, but thrive in the status quo.